solitude can be wonderful, but enforced loneliness is hard. My friends and family, it seems as if they are on another planet, so far away. I try to communicate with the blooms, the sky, the birds, ease the pain, but the sadness is omnipresent. It was there before lockdown, I tell myself. Yes, but it became amplified.
Some aspects of it I like. I like not having social obligations. It's been really good for me not being around people all the time. If anything, it's been wonderful having a 12-step program to fall back on, and keeping it in the day, keeping an eye on the emotions, and not relying on things that are unhealthy to keep me sane, and just relying on my own resources to keep me sane, which broadly still am.
It's quiet. I like it. It feels separate from the rest of the world. There is just me and the sound of the wind outside. Many times I've been in this room and been called from downstairs and pretended not to be in. To have avoided people calling for me at the front door. The isolation is welcome.
The paint on the walls hasn't been changed since the room was first painted in 1860. It's a warm, yellow ochre, dappled through time and peeling away in parts.
I do long for train rides, trips to London, trips to anywhere, eating and laughing with friends. Sometimes even a visit to Sainsbury's seems exotic.
They've banned the vigils. What is that all about? So, this whole pandemic, this global anxiety, has brought upon us increased depression, anxiety, fear, death. I don't like it. Who would?
It's a blue room, baby blue. There's a bunk bed in the corner, wooden steps to the roof. There's a large window looking out onto a street. And on the windowsill there's this porcelain horse. Strange, shiny porcelain horse. The atmosphere's pretty calm, actually. It's all blue. Carpet's blue, the walls are blue. Everything's blue.
You've got a lot of stuff. People call it stuff. And I say, well, how can I, for instance, give away that beautiful shell, or that wonderful book, or that funny little bird? I love birds, and I can see I've probably got about 7 birds, wooden birds, clay birds, fluffy birds, Christmas robins. How can I throw those away? They were given with love, and I love them.
not the things in the room, it's the perfume of it, rich in memories and safety. Such a large, lofty room. Machinery, tools, and the smell of grease and oil. That smell comforting, exciting, familiar, the ghost of a past life.
I'm currently off sick with the effects of long COVID. This is mainly manifesting as depression and severe abdominal pains. The average day now that I'm not at work, I wake up with stomach pain at around 5 and I take painkillers. I have a cup of tea. I watch some television for an hour and I go back to sleep. I wake up again at around 9 and wish that I hadn't. I have more tea, deal with the nausea with more medication, and have some breakfast and watch television. Usually things about cryptozoology or UFOs. The evening will come. I will have dinner with my mother. I will get drunk. I will fall asleep. And so it begins again.
Me and my wife have spent every moment with each other that we've both agreed that even though we've been with each other the entire time, we still missed each other.
The sound of muffled conversations from neighbouring anterooms in the bar, the arrhythmic crackle of the fire, the smell of the damp from my rain-soaked clothes.
Damp and musky and like, I don't know, an attic or a room that hadn't been used for a very long time, but it was used every single day. And it just had this really specific smell, and whenever I smell that, that's immediately where I go back to. It's back to that room.
And now I'm here. No buses, no sirens, little traffic. Few people. You'd see the kids going to school and coming back from school. You'd see people going to work, coming back from work. People going shopping. These days, not many people.
I'm on my own, and I like it that way because it means that I'm left to my own thoughts. All I need is some silence and the drumming of the weather outside.
Very heady, very intoxicating, but peaceful. Utterly and completely peaceful.
I wake out of bad dreams and night sweats every morning. What does the day bring? Isolation, confusion, bad news, death. Try to motivate myself to write, to do, put a wash in, stack the dishwasher, make my bed. I must make my bed. If I don't make my bed, I feel that I've lost it, lost every single plot I ever had. Normality. Cook. Try to cook every day. Most of the time I feel sad, lonely and scared. I fear for the future, for my children. The government, do they care? No. What do they know? Lies upon lies upon lies, one rule for them, other rules for the rest of us.
Japanese woodcut that I have carried with me since I found it in an antiquariat near my first art school. It's a single woman walking with her lit lantern alone at night. She is lighting her own way, and she is passing houses that are lit from the inside, a world she seems not to be part of.
Home. No nest. No. 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 Shh. I hear it. There's someone there. I hear a click. A flash. Someone's looking. Someone's looking at the door. I see. Hello?
For a lot of people, Mother Nature has been a help. Birds, earth, trees, blooms, growing vegetables, hoping your tomatoes don't get gobbled by snails. But underneath, there is always that residue of the nightmares, the night sweating fears.
I was 12 years old, and the weather was arguably beautiful the day my grandfather asked me to kill him. The caressing sun had warmed the dark wooden stock of the airgun to the heat of a living thing, and made the barrel glint with a purposeful blue-black luster. He hobbled out to me on his walking stick, and with that wide-eyed, earnest intensity, offered me money to shoot him. He listened to my shrill-voiced refusals and explanations of the inadequacy of the weapon to his requirements. With a crushed shrug of his narrow shoulders, he made his way glacier-slow back to the house, leaving me in the strip of unruly grass and dog shit that passed as a garden to ponder the evil twins of desperation and impotence.
I hear someone come into the house. I think no, that can't be. I have collected back all the keys to the house from those that had keys, and I've had my lock changed recently. But then, after what seems like some time, I hear someone on the stairs, and they enter my bedroom. I don't see anyone, but I feel a presence in the room, and that presence came and lay next to me on the bed. I was lying on my side, and this presence lay all along my back. It fitted so well with my body and felt so good.
This body is mine. This body
was an old-fashioned black Bakelite telephone, and it had its own table in the corner of the dining room. It was the police, and they were telling my stepfather that they had caught a trespasser on the estate with a rabbit. This young man, as I afterwards learned, had broken the law by walking on land that did not belong to him and poaching a rabbit. When this young man came up in court the next day before my stepfather, who was a justice of the peace, he was sentenced and fined, which he couldn't pay, and so was detained. I made a vow that day that I would not support the establishment in Britain and would find a way to live and work outside the system that was so unjust.
I have never not felt like an outsider. Even the groups I was part of were considered outsider groups, and I considered myself an outsider even within those. That's fine. I'm comfortable here.
I'm in the room now that I really, really like, and it's completely different from where I lived before. It has a real bed and it's very cozy, and I have a forest behind my window, and the air is so fresh that I want to sleep all the time. Tonight I can't sleep at all. I don't know, maybe I just drank too much wine or embarrassed myself during the dinner. I don't know, but I hope I will fall asleep very soon. Maybe I should drink some valeriana and I can sleep because I
feel like an outsider most of the time, but I'm absolutely fine with that. I think outsiders do things, important things that other people who are concerned with conformity and social norms can't do. I think quite possibly everything important that's been done has probably been done by somebody who is an outsider to a degree.
Maybe I wasn't really trying to make an effort. But yeah, that's outsiders to me aren't really people that you should fear. Just more curious, really. Curious beings.
A darkened room would be the very worst. If I could communicate telepathically with other people in darkened rooms elsewhere, what would you say to them?
I was placed here by people. I was placed here for a reason. I am both ghost and body. I am not seen, but I see all. I guess that you could call that spiritual.
There was one occasion when neither my sister nor I could look after her for one night and a day. I myself had an early hospital appointment the next day. I was able to take my mother to a respite care home about 3 miles away. I told her I would pick her up the following day after my appointment. The care home rang me early in the morning. She had died that night. After all the time we had together, all the plans I had made for her, even wanting to be with her at her death, she died alone in a strange room.
Anyway, after several halves of scrumpy cider, music started up in an alley beside the pub. Guitars, harmonicas, that sort of thing. And it welled up inside me. I suddenly burst out singing. It's probably more the howl of a banshee, really, if I'm honest about it all. As a child, whenever I had that sort of a moment, I used to find acoustic spaces like a hallway or a bathroom. I spent a lot of time in care, so bathrooms were pretty huge and echoey. Anywhere where I could sing without being overheard, which wasn't often, but when I did, I used to try and sing like Ella, or sing like Ray Charles, or sing like anybody that I'd heard that I fell in love with. Margie Hendricks, Ray Letts, Nighttime is the Right Time, Ray Charles.
After a traumatic emergency caesarean birth, the paediatrician was hopping up and down with excitement, which answered all my questions about whether she was fit and well. When I eventually took her home, I danced with her in my arms and sang. I still feel that joy when I see her.
They do say that very advanced yogis, when they enter lucid dream states, meditate, but I'm not that. So I would just fly, endless motion, into the void. No thought, just endless motion, just forward, just the process, the moment, the endless rush. No consequence, no direction, no past, no future, just the void, just motion.
There is nothing I must do, and everything I can do, except leave my house. I always have more things that I would like to do in a day than I am able to do. Somehow the things rise to the surface that I do that day, and me and myself are doing well with keeping each other company. I am finding this a special time, where I have no idea what the future will bring, but am surprisingly content living moment to moment and day to day.
Flying and leaving one's body. I remember seeing myself in bed and leaving my body and floating out of the room, floating down the stairs, out of the door and out onto the street where I would fly above the houses. And I remember always using the telephone lines as a way to navigate myself out of my street and into the town centre. Whenever I would wake up, I remember as if I was being pulled by a bungee straight back to my bed, and I would usually wake up with a jolt.
ba ba.